everybody, it's me, Freddie Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to another edition of Freddie Friday Story Fun Time. With me, your host, as I just did, Frederick Fred Friday. Hello, producer. Happy afternoon. Hey, Freddie, what's going on? Please say your name. James. Yup, that's my buddy James, my left-hand man, and the guy who always holding the camera for me so I could just concentrate on looking beautiful and telling good stories, you know? Oh, yeah? Yeah. Let's pan the camera out. Oh, yeah, pan the camera out, please. You got the field coat on, huh? Yup, I got the field coat on. You know what? Why is that? Because it's like, well, I mean, it's not September yet, but it's the end of the summer now, technically, even though summer goes to September. But you know what I mean. It's Labor Day weekend. So what is the field coat in honor of? Well, I'm going to get to that. So today's episode is 64, right? Yeah, episode 64. Yup. Remember the show Rocky and Bullwinkle? Of course I do. Well, this is what this title is going to be called today. Okay? Episode 64 is The Cookie Crumb Kid, or How I Grew to Love Chocolate Chip Cookie. What do you think? Oh, wow, a chocolate chip cookie love origin story? Yeah, I've never really talked about why I love the chocolate chip cookie, or at least how that happened. And it had to do with my Uncle Frank. That's why I'm wearing his jacket. Frank Friday. Yup, my Uncle Frank Friday. Sorry, Frank Jr., it's still my coat. Okay, so you want to get to it? Yeah, let's get to it. What time of the week then? My uncle would think. Well, a lot of people have said things like that. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Early to bed, early to rise was another thing he said. Makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise? Yeah, how did you know that? Because that's not your uncle. What do you mean? That's another Frank. Another Frank? Yeah, Ben Frank. Ben Frank? Ben Franklin. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. Hey, I guess, one Frank are like another. So you get into the story. Yeah, don't rush me. Yeah. So here we go, people. A couple of decades ago at this point, I guess, a decade and doggy years, when I was in Orange, New York, remember I told you about Sugarloaf County and the Fall Festival, which, by the way, this year it's October 12th and 13th. Oh, yeah, I made a couple of calls and I found out. Okay, so anyway, listen. When I was a kid, I was working in a general store, remember? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And at this point in time, my Uncle Frank, well, he was back from one of his big-time overseas missions. One of his big-time overseas missions? Yeah. Because we know that he was, he was fighting in the war on terror. The war on terror, remember that? Oh, boy, Freddie. What do you mean, oh, boy? Oh, anyway, listen. So I was working in a general store. I was a young pupper back in that time. And, I had never had a chocolate chip cookie before because, doggies are not supposed to eat the chocolate apparently. But I hear that that's a bunch of nonsense too. Yeah? Yeah. Well, it must be since you love chocolate chip cookie. Exactly. So, listen, I was working in the general store. I would basically being the kid who stood behind the counter and took change and, do the thing like that. Cashier, basically. And anyway, but next door to the general store was the, old-time style Americana restaurant type place. They make like roasts and mashed potatoes and things like that. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like an American style restaurant. Yeah, an American style restaurant, probably with a hint of like old style English Irish food. Like pot roast, things like that. Sure. Wow, Freddie, you're good with your food origins today. Well, what are you gonna do? If I would have said paella, we know that would have been wrong. But so anyway, so I was working in the general store, and I usually just work early in the day, because you were a kiddie. Yeah, exactly. But one Friday time, I was working at night, like evening hour, not deep night, Okay? Yeah, and the reason why that was happening was because my Uncle Frank was coming back the next day, and I had requested off. And of course, they knew me, So they were like, "So, Freddie, would you mind not working tonight? And so we could switch with you." So I said, "Sure, I'll work tonight." Anyway, apparently, I didn't know it, but late at night, not late at night, but like 7 o'clock at night in the fall, next door, when you're not smelling the burning leaves, because you can't do that. No, that's true, you can't. No. They were making a big batch of chocolate chip cookie next door at the restaurant. Really? Yeah. And of course, when I started smelling it, I was like, oh my God, what is that? I smell something delicious. And my boss at the time was a lovely lady by the name of Lynn. Lynn Paoli. Lynn Paul Lee. Yeah, she was a good illustrator too. But anyway, she basically said, I know what that is, Freddie. Stay right here for a second. And she ran next door and she brought back this big time chocolate chip cookie that was fresh out of the oven, crunchy on the outside, like maybe like 4 inches in diameter. A big time cookie. Oh yeah, yeah. And she said, I'm gonna break the cookie in half and we're gonna eat half of it as a symbol to our friendship. Really? Yeah. So what happened? Well, just what I did. She broke it in half. It was so gooey when she pulled it apart. And the smell was, oh my God, you know? Orgasmic. Hey, we gotta keep it PG. And then pretty good. Oh boy, Freddie. Yeah. So we pulled it apart and she said, listen, we're gonna eat the cookie. But no matter what happened from here on out, whenever you feel alone in the world, just remember this moment and the taste of the cookie. And it was delicious and lovely. And in my harder days that came about later on, I never forgot that moment. So that's how I got to love chocolate chip cookie. Really? Yeah. Well, Freddie, that's really lovely. Thank you. So I guess my legend for the weekend will be, besides the fall festival coming around, split a cookie with one of your friends. And then, you know what happened? What was that? Well, then my uncle came around and he found out that I spent $967 on room service. Really? Yeah. And we were suddenly in Central Park near the Plaza Hotel. Freddie, that's just the end of Home Alone 2. Oh, you got me. Well, DM, people, DM. Well, that was a really lovely story, Freddie. Thank you. So where do they find it? Well, you can find it at Freddie Friday on YouTube, at Freddie Friday Story Funtime on Instagram, and then me or him on email at FreddieFridayStoryFuntime@gmail.com. So on to Tuesday, what do we always say, producer? What do we say, Freddie? We tell the people that we love, let's split a chocolate chip cookie and do it.